you know, sometimes challenging experiences, the gratitude that they will just shower on you, and it's a beautiful thing. So I said to Jinx, why don't we go to a shelter and specifically talk to some older dogs? We also talked to some puppies, but it was just great. It was so nice to be able to. They were like, sure, whatever you want to do, and they just, you know, gave us the green light. So me and my buddy Mark, who's my producing partner for a lot of things, me, him, and a camera went to a shelter and just hung out with dogs for the day. I was like, well, this is just the best possible job. I don't know if I can beat this. So yeah, we're hoping to do a lot more stuff like that in the future. Thank you. Yeah, I had a great dog, East. I don't know if anyone knows East, my dog before Dodger. And man, it's so sad talking about your previous dogs, isn't it? But like he was when I first moved to LA, I moved to LA in, God, what was it, 99 or something like that. And the first thing I did was get a dog. And he was an American bulldog, and he had a good run. He made it to 11, which is impressive. But yeah, he was the best. You know, he was the opposite of Dodger. He was a sweet dog, but he probably could have had his own apartment. He probably could have lived by, you know what I mean? Like, you came home and he was like, oh, you know, you're like, all right, I don't want to, you do you, man. I'm not going to bite you, you know what I mean? He was very cool, very chill, but I really always wanted a dog to just tackle me a little bit, and that's why it's such a blessing that Dodger's going to be 9 this year, and everyone who meets him is like, really? I mean, he is a puppy. He is a brand new soul. He has not aged a day in his body or mind, so he's you know.
How old was he when you adopted him?
Well, we don't know. He was a rescue. They aged him at about 1, and I hope every day that he was even less, but I mean, he was kind of big, so I don't know. I mean, he's, like I said, he hasn't lost his step. I think he's got another 9 in him.
To stay on the topic of Dodger, I'm sure you talk to each other, and you know, I've always been wondering, do you think he has an inner voice? Like, and if he does, like, what would it sound like? Like, how do you think he would talk to you?
Yeah,
what would it sound like?
I feel that if he could speak, and I can't believe he hasn't. Sometimes he's looking at me, I'm like, say it. You just be like, what's up? Like, you hear me talk, you know all these words, like I see you react to them, just try. I think he sounds like Marty McFly. Like, I think if he spoke, I think it's like a young Michael J. Fox. That's the voice I hear in my mind. I don't know, maybe that would ruin it though. You know, it's just so sweet. It's just coming out of those big eyes. Just maybe just no voice is the way to go for Dodger.
And so Halloween is coming up, and anyone who's pet owners, well, some of us love to dress up our pets in costume. And is there any costumes that maybe Dodger would like to wear? I know that right now there's kind of this trend of dogs like being little ghosts. Right? Is there, you know, does Dodger do Halloween?
He loves the doorbell. I always feel any commercial that puts a doorbell in the commercial, I'm like, you don't have a dog, because what are you doing? And he's going nuts every time the commercial comes on. No, it's so funny, Dodger, I've worked on some films where I've taken wardrobe home and then you kind of stuff Dodger in it, but I remember the first time, when I first got him back in 2015, that winter was a rough one, a lot of snow, and we would go on these big hikes, and I was like, oh, are his feet getting cold? Should I put booties on him? You know, so I got these, booties, and put them on him, and man, it's just, you could be holding a raw sirloin steak 5 feet, he will not move. So, and whether it's booties or a costume, I've forced, you know, sweaters and things on him, and he just freezes. He hates it. So I probably won't do the Halloween costume thing just because I know he doesn't like it, even though I love it. I won't do it to him. No, I don't think he's a fan.
So I was gonna say, it's like any clothes, it's not just booties.
Anything, any sort of attire. Boots, sweaters, T-shirts, hats. He's not into it.
Now, we were at New York Comic Con, and right. And, you know, being back in New York, it was only a few years ago you actually made your debut in Broadway on theater. Is live theater something you'd want to try again?
Yeah, very much so. But again, it's just like directing. The commitment of theater, 8 shows a week, you only get Mondays off. It also has to be something that you are deeply passionate about. So I'm looking. I really am looking. I'd love to actually try and find something next year. But it's tough because you'll find something that you are kind of into that could be cool, but there's just, like I said, once you're in it, you are in it. In theater, they usually run 3, 4, 5 months. It's just, it's got to be something that you don't just love, but it's got to be something that you're ready to explore from different angles every single night for a very long time. And so I'm looking, but I haven't quite found it yet. Oh, I'm not a good enough singer, guys. I wish I were. I really wish I were. I could do a film musical, because that you can do in a studio, and you can like polish it until it's right. But to get up there and just do it every day, 8 times a week, I don't have the pipes. I wish I did. Oh, thanks, okay. Oh, Shakespeare, yeah, absolutely. Do they do Shakespeare musicals? I don't know.
I'm sure they could make one.
Yeah, I grew up doing a lot of Shakespeare. My high school did a lot of Shakespeare. That's where I kind of, oddly enough, what did I do? I went to high school with Jeremy Strong. I don't know if anyone knows that. And we both did a lot of Shakespeare shows together as teenagers. And he was phenomenal, and I was just trying to keep up.
So a couple of months ago, you were also a guest at C2E2. Yeah. And when you were introduced on stage, and just again today, when you were introduced on stage, we played AC/DC's Back in Black, and that was your introduction song. If you were to choose another song that you'd like to imagine kind of plays in the background, or like when you appear, kind of like maybe a theme song, what would it be?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, Back in Black is tough to beat. Maybe Welcome to the Jungle. That's got a good. That's a good one. I've always liked Return of the Mac. What was that? I missed it again. Oh, Dropkick Murphy. See, that's too on the nose. I love that, but that's too Boston. I mean, I'll always get on the Boston train, but that might be too much. Yeah, I guess I'll say Welcome to the Jungle. That's a good second place to Back in Black.
Is that kind of like the style of music that you?
Well, I mean, I love classic rock. I love 90s rock. I mean, I grew up in what I would consider one of the best, you know, the 90s, and it's such good music. So yeah, you can't go wrong with GNR.
Well, Chris, thank you. I just want to say again, you know, thank you so much for joining us here today. All these people right now and everyone watching at home are so happy to have you here.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you so much. I have so much love for you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And once again, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.